Welcome back. As we round off Youth Month, let's talk about opportunities for young people. We know that many young South Africans are left out of the formal economy, with youth unemployment soaring above 60%. What about those who want to start small businesses, be entrepreneurs, be involved in startups? How can we create an enabling environment? To discuss, we're joined by Mamokete Ramathe, who is the founder and CEO of Mamor Capital, an investment company with interests in the ICT sector. She's an award-winning black businesswoman with more than 20 years experience in financial services. She serves on listed and unlisted company boards. Ramathe is also an advocate for women empowerment, and she serves on the board of the International Women's Forum South Africa and other NGOs. Mamokete, welcome to you.
Thank you,
looking back, I mean, obviously you've soared since, but how difficult was it to break in as a young black woman, financial services? Was it easy for you, or were there hurdles?
Francis, I will not say it was easy. It's always been important for me to surround myself with a strong support structure, and I would really give credit to the people who had gone ahead of me, who had access, who had been through the experiences that I wanted to be through, and I also leveraged a lot from the relationships, mentorship relationships and coaching relationships, to actually, before I could even get into business.
So even early on, you started speaking to people that you admired.
I started to speak to people who were already ahead of me, and I think that's what made it a little easier. But I can't say it was a smooth sailing. It continues to be a challenge even now for people who are starting businesses. Financing is still a challenge, but more so we know that the challenge is beyond just financial resources, but also just being capacitated to know how to navigate the world of business.
Well, that is my next question. When you speak to young, very ambitious women, I know you particularly care about female empowerment in business. Can you say to them, look, if you've got the drive, you can get there? Or do you feel like, sure, they are in a really difficult world? The world has changed. Things have gotten harder.
Look, I currently work in the private equity environment, and we also have the opportunity to work with new startup innovators and ecosystem in the space. And it's amazing how young people are creating solutions that have the potential to change and to improve the lives of people in the continent. So I would say the talent and the innovation that comes from young people that we are seeing on the ground says to me that young people need to go for it. Young people need to believe in themselves and put themselves out there, and do not let even the issues of access to finance to hold them back. But I think it's very, very important to know that when you have got talent, when you've got ideas, you need to put it out there and leverage the good relationships that you need to be able to get you there. So I certainly encourage young people and women in particular, to start to really look within themselves and believe in themselves and push forward, because that's where it starts. It starts with yourself, taking a step. If you do not start, you'll never know what you can achieve.
And being brave. So part of your business is actually venture capital. So you'll look at people with business ideas.
Yeah.
And I'd love to ask you, because it's often said, South Africa doesn't have this innovative streak. How could we, if we have problems with education? How can we compete with the likes of the developed world in terms of coming up with ideas and business ideas? Maybe you can even give us examples of things you've seen that have inspired you.
Look, I always say, having been in late stage investments in private equity, up until now, I know for sure that even in previous years, startups or venture capital always been something that people would not be ready for, especially technology. Technology changes all the time.
Yeah.
And what is this animal? We don't understand it. Even when you fund it, there's often no security and all that. So, but we're starting to see a different attitude towards startup. And I think it's because most of the new startups being in technology, and technology having become such a good part of our lives, an everyday part of our lives, perhaps people are beginning to show interest and to see that it's a tangible and a viable opportunity or a viable asset class that you can consider. So in that sense, I think we're starting to see a lot more support for the sector. And we're starting to see a lot more interest in providing not only financial support, but also non-financial support to ensure that people who start new businesses and who go and venture and have got innovative solutions, they can be backed, they can be supported, and they can be supported beyond just financial resources, including business enablement and many other things. And I think that's the key to understand that to succeed, you don't only need financial resources first. Don't put that ahead to sort of block you from taking the adventure. But
and
you really
also
need
about understanding the market and things like. Has there been a young entrepreneur that's really wowed you yet?
No, we do. I mean, we've recently started our venture capital firm. It's amazing the incredible ideas that we're seeing, and mainly, in young people, and these are solutions, as we always say that in the African continent, it's kind of different when, the sort of problems that we are solving for. It's not so much that you're seeing innovation that just increases, customer experience or improves efficiencies. It's really innovation that changes the way we do things, that improves the quality of lives of people and so forth. So it's really heartwarming to be able to see those kind of opportunities on the ground.
Yeah, I think M-Pesa, financial things like that, farmers using messaging services, things like that have been cited. Another big question, and what would your advice be to young people? Should they get into a formal job first and get some work experience? Say they have a great idea, or should they go for it? Do you need that background, something tangible?
You see, I don't think there's one answer to that. I think it has to be contextual. I can tell you now, there are people who actually benefit from having worked first, because the benefit that comes with that is that you understand, in some instances, the governance aspect of business, you understand the financial aspect of things, and therefore when you start your business, you are able to bring that experience with yourselves. But if you have not gone the formal employment first, it doesn't mean you can't do it. All it means is that you need to be aware of the gaps you need to close that you may not have, or the benefits that you may not have gained out of a formal employment. So just ensure that you surround yourself with the right people that have the relevant skills to sort of for you to leverage off. Just make sure that you are able to invest in yourself, invest in in knowledge and just in understanding what it takes to succeed in the environment or in the space that you want to operate in. And if it's imperative that you have financial understanding, if it's imperative that you understand market landscape, if it's imperative that you understand how to put a business case together, you need to invest in that, or you need to partner with people who can complement the skills that you have. So I think we just need to be strategic to understand the lay of the land and apply ourselves and partner with the right people.
What is the lay of the land for entrepreneurs, for business owners and leaders, as well as the people starting up? We often hear about funding. You've mentioned that for people trying to get in or trying to get anywhere or trying to grow their business. You said that that's not the only impediment, and maybe it can be overcome. And then the red tape, we keep on talking about this in South Africa. What needs to change from government side, and what advice can you give youngsters trying to navigate the South African environment?
No, I think it's very important that we continue to create an enabling environment, investment in resources that empower youth-led initiatives, to empower young people to know exactly where to access resources. I mean, we have financial institutions talking about a lot of financial products that they have to support startup companies and so forth. The question is, are they accessible? The question is, do people know where those are? And I think
go to a website and see
more need to be done to inform and to ensure that young people know where to go. and even when they know where these resources are, they are accessible. And I think that's very important. But most importantly, we also know that the challenge with financing is not the availability of funds. The availability of funds, funds are available. It's simply just being able to provide what is necessary, have a bankable business plan, understand what is required to be able to unlock that. And I think a lot more investment needs to be done to capacitating and providing other non-financial support such as business enablement, as well as market access and so forth. A lot needs to be done. And we know that those programs are there. We know that government agencies have got those programs. We know that corporates take initiatives to provide that, but they need to be accessible, and we need to know where they are. And I think that's the improvement I think needs to be there.
All right, because to get the funding, you need a good business plan. Yeah. So, and you said rely on the support that is out there, even putting your plan together.
Absolutely, it's important to do that, because if we do not invest in all these other areas, they end up blocking and making it difficult for us to access the financing that we need.
And you just get closed doors. Thank you. Inspirational. Lovely to have you here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
The founder and CEO of Mamor Capital, Mamokete Ramathe.